How is everyone doing today? Please let me know in the chat box how everyone is doing. Thank you so much. I'm going to give it about a minute to get some more last minute stragglers to come in, and then we can start. Everybody's doing great. Glad to hear. Thank you for spending your morning or afternoon with me. For those of you who were with me on the 30th of January, what a webinar that was, right? That was a good challenge with our model, Leslie. That was fun. It was fun. But hopefully you guys, like if you get a client like that where their lashes just like are not working with you, patience, and then you can make it work. Okay. Hello, welcome. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop up the PowerPoint in the meantime. Hi, Zinnia, good morning. Can you send us the record? Yes, you will get a recording at the end of the webinar. And then you could also, if you don't see it in you get a thank you email. If you don't see it, then you could request it for me in an email. I will have a PowerPoint that shows where to reach out. Give me 1 second. I just need to show the right PowerPoint. Hello, everybody. Welcome. How's the weather for people? I know everybody's from across North America and some from other countries, which is nice. But how's everybody's weather? Today we have sun, thank goodness. Damp. Damp is not always, it's not fun. Okay, I'm just trying to find my correct presentation. Just give me 1 second. There we go. This one should be the correct one. Very sunny today, Leanne. Yeah, sun's good. Helps with the mood too. Helps to have a good day. Rainy in LA. I heard that. Jessica can't hear me. Can everybody else hear me and see me? Ooh, 32. 32 Fahrenheit or 32 degrees? Because 32 degrees is really good. 32 Fahrenheit, though, it's cold. Let me just message Jessica. Check your volume settings. But everybody else can hear me and see me? Just let me know in the chat. Yes, okay. It's Colorado. Yeah, that's cold. It's cold. Good place to ski, though. Okay, perfect. So everybody can hear and see me. If anybody's having any challenges hearing or seeing me and check their volume, check their camera, just exit out and then come back in and you could, it should work. Like, or refresh your page or exit and come back in. Okay. Oh, you're on the plus side in Manitoba. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to be on the plus side. Okay, so thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Before we get started, I'll just do a little quick introduction. But first, I just want to know who's new at the webinars, who's in today and is completely new at attending RefectoCil webinars with myself. Let me know. Okay, Courtney, Leanne. Okay, and ooh, we got a lot of newbies, which is always welcoming. So welcome. You have also, thanks, Ava. You also have a lot of people here. We have a good attendance today, but you also have a lot that are RefectoCil users or supportive with our RefectoCil webinar. So they're here to help you as well with your journey and give you some good comments about RefectoCil. So that's great. Now, who is here first time going to be doing lash services? You're thinking about them and you want to bring these into the salon and spa. So lash lifts, last time we had the lash curl. So who's their first time? Okay, this is great. We got a lot of new. Okay. Well, I'm excited then because you come to the right place for us to convince you RefectoCil is the way to go. And also by showing you a live demonstration so that you can see the techniques. It always helps. And I share more tips and tricks while we're doing the techniques so that you're more feeling more prepared to actually try this. Okay. First time in Edmonton, Alberta. Yes, perfect. So first time for a lot of people, the lash lift specifically. So on that note, for the new timers, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Chrissy. I am the lead trainer of RefectoCil North America. My passion is RefectoCil. So a lot of you who know me know that I try my best to have an answer to every part of your questions so I can help you love RefectoCil as much as I do. So I do have an aesthetic background. I'm also an esthetician on the side. And then I also direct education for the company that I'm at, CBUN Group. So all around education is my love, my passion, along with RefectoCil. Okay, so I have a little PowerPoint with a couple of slides just for you guys to understand as well the difference between a lash lift and a curl, because a lot of you did come to the webinar on the 30th, about a week ago on the Tuesday. But also, a lot of you might be seeing in the distributorship or online, oh, there's two types of systems. So I want to talk about these systems so that you know how to utilize each one. But today, the live demonstration will be on the lash lift. Okay, so to get started, a lot of you guys were new today with the RefectoCil brand. So I put into this PowerPoint a little bit of a timeline, the history of RefectoCil, that you guys can see what they've done along the way. But the most important is to know when the birth of RefectoCil was, because you can see then how long they've been around with great reputation, great quality in products in treating lashes and brows. So in 1942 was when RefectoCil was launched. Actually, in about 6 or 7 years, they will be celebrating their 100th year that they've been around. So that means that they have a great reputation going on. Their quality is great. They do have as well a lab that is within the manufacturer, right? So that means they're able to test things faster, get things formulated faster, get things changed faster if there's any issues. So it's a plus of a manufacturer having the lab within their place of the business, right? And then we can see that today they're the world market leader. And when we look at in lash and brow styling, so when we look at the second slide, in over now 80 countries, right? They are a global brand, but they are the market leader when it comes to lash and brow styling in over 80 countries. This image, we need to add an addition one, like a new one, because products will be updated with different packaging. But this gives you an idea of what RefectoCil has to offer. So if you've been only using RefectoCil for lashes, well, you can use RefectoCil as well for brows with brow lamination and tint as well. So we have that coming up in our March and April webinars, all about the business of brows. Okay. So another little thing here is just a little facts, like so that you know about RefectoCil. 100% of the tints, so all the tints that you use from RefectoCil, they are made in Austria. So they're made right in their lab. I had the privilege of visiting that lab. It was amazing to see how quick those tubes of tints are filled, capped, packaged. It's like amazing what the human brain can create in a machine to do this. So it was very eye-opening. Then you have one lash lift service per minute is being performed, which means, and then when it comes to like tints, over 800,000 applications per day. So you can see that these lash and brow services are often sought out, and people are booking in their treatment every 4 to 6 weeks. They have their next appointment to come in. So Nicole, do you have dates for the brow webinars? They will be going up soon, the actual date. So check our website this week. Around Thursday, we're going to have on our refectocileducation.com on the main page the upcoming March and April webinars. Also, if you are local in Toronto, Richmond Hill area, around that greater Toronto, we are hosting a business of brows class at one of the hotels on Highway 7 in Leslie. And it's an in-person, hands-on certification class for business of brows. That as well, you can see on our website if you're interested to come and do that. I'll be hosting that class. Okay, so a little bit of their mission statement. It says giving women self-assurance 24 hours a day in all situations, but also these services cater them to the male clientele as well. It's not only just for females. I've been working a lot more on male clientele and seeing that they do require some of these services as well. When it comes to brows, they do need some tinting sometime to freshen up the color of their brows, to cover some grays, even lashes. I do a lot of curls on male clientele because a male might not want to have it too lifted up like a lift where it's more straight up. They might just want to have a little bit of a raise just to give freshness into the eyes, because if their lashes are downcast, it gives that downcast view, right? So it doesn't freshen up and give a wider brighter look. So a lot of male clientele seek out these services too. So market it in your Instagrams, market it when you're putting on your website, do some befores and after with male clientele, because you will get male clientele seeking out even a lash tinting. If their lashes have turned white, a light brown or a natural brown can just bring a little bit of color to the lashes. So once again, their face looks brighter, open look. Okay. So when we're talking about lashes, why we want to offer lash styling service, why would you want to do this? Well, because clients are seeking for lashes that are longer, fuller, and darker. A lot of clients might want to stop doing lash extensions because lash extensions do get, they become a lot in maintenance because they got to come every 3 weeks to do those refills. And if they don't, the lashes can tend to not look great or aesthetically pretty or pleasing. So it's a maintenance, a lot of maintenance. With RefectoCil Lash Lifts, Lash Curls, and Tints, it's less maintenance for your clients. And a lot of people who are busy these days, that's what they're looking for, and something that lasts a little bit longer. And then when we do have longer, fuller, darker lashes, it helps to make the eyes look bigger. It gives a freshened look. And also the client is styled from all around the clock. You know, they have this presented to them on their lashes and their brows all day, 4 to 6 weeks, and it's waterproof. You know, in the summer, it's great when you go swimming. In the winter, and you know, in December when you go on vacation, it's great. Okay. Let's quickly talk about the two kits. So the first kit you see up there is your lash lift kit. Okay, so it's got like that teal looking packaging. And as you can see, like in both images, you will see that the glue and the solutions are the same in both kits. But in the lift kit, what changes is the forms. So in the lift kit, you have silicone forms. Okay, that's a medium size. In the curl, you have rollers. So that's the difference in the kit. And just with the lift, they added a lifter tool. With the curl, it's a little bit hard to use this. With the curl, you use an orange wood stick. So that's the difference between the two kits. Otherwise, the solutions are the same. The glues are the same. And the solutions in both of these kits can also be dual for brows, and you can use it on brows as well. Okay, and that is what your curl kit looks like, but with the rollers. Okay, we're going to now quickly talk about the difference between these two and to who to market it to or to who to use it, because I always tell people, start off first with the lash lift. If you're not doing any of these services, start off with the lash lift. Bring in the lash lift first. Get that, marketed out there. Get your clients flowing in with it, and get comfortable with it. Get the results that you need, and then you can start seeing which clients will benefit with the curl option. Okay, but for us, let's see how you can know who benefits what with these services. So the differences between a lift and the curl. So a lift, as you can see in the picture, oh, my little red squiggly thing keeps on moving. Every time I move it back, it's just unruly, this curl image. Okay, so that little C part is supposed to be on the lash there, showing you that when you're doing a curl, because it's a roller and the hair wraps around it, it creates like a C shape. So like think of your lash extensions, they have C, J shape. So that's what it creates, but it's tighter. But then when you think of the lift, look at the lift. It's more of a U shape. So it adds length as opposed to the curl adds a shape, not necessarily a length. So if you have somebody who their lashes, even when you're using the size small silicone pad, the lashes won't cover the bump, but we'll see the placement after, then you don't want to send that customer home. How do you still keep that customer? Well, you tell them I have the option of the curl where I could use a size small roller, which will work. And I'm still going to give you a desired shape, like a good shape that your lashes are going to be shown. So that's why I always tell people it's great to bring in the lash lift kit and bring in just the forms from the curl kit, or the opposite. If you just buy the lash curl kit, bring the forms from the lifting kit, because you're going to need to utilize both of these go back on back. Like if there's a client that didn't work for this, you can do this. Okay. Also for a male clientele, I use the curler, and I use a bigger roller because I don't want to make it too tight to see, just enough of a shape that it brings that freshness. As well, if you have clients who have long lashes, for myself, when my lashes are taken care, I use boosters and they're nice and long. I don't really need to use a lift to make them even longer, because then they're just too unrealistic for my sense. So a lot of people who have really long lashes might just want that shape. So then you have the curl option. Okay, so let's look at the selecting your pads with both of these type of services. So for the lifting, it is 3 types of pads: small, medium, and large. And in the instruction there, it says small for a strong lifting effect, medium for a natural, large for discreet. Don't always go with that explanation. The way you know that if you chose the right pad, I'm just going to show you with the large one so that you can see that bump. Your hair has to cover this bump, not the free edge that I'm holding here. That stays always loose and nothing goes on it. So it has to cover this bump. As you can see in the image, if your lashes reach halfway of the bump, then you're not going to reach a desired shape. Okay, I just see there's comments. Welcome, Terry. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Um, so if they reach like halfway, then you're not going to get that desired look. If they reach up the bump and onto the free edge, you're going to have a very blunt lift. And it's going to be very hard for the client to be putting on their mascara. So that's why I don't always, because what happens a lot of people is they're like, oh, Will, I'm going to choose a size small pad, because I'm going to be sure that that lift's going to be lifted. And then it becomes too dramatic and not pleasing to the client. So there is a certain limit. Okay. And the images here show you. With the rollers, we have 4 different sizes: small, medium, large, and extra large. And they just have to cover halfway of that circumference. As you can see in each size of the images, they cover half of the circumference. Okay. So if it doesn't, if it goes below, no curl. Waste of time almost, right? You won't see it. If it goes beyond and wraps behind, you're going to get a coiled look. You don't want to give a client a coiled look. It's very hard for them to put mascara, and you still don't see the lashes because they're coiled inside. Okay, so this is how you know how to choose the appropriate roller. Placement of the solution is very important, because in both systems, the difference is where you place solution is where you break down the bonds and where you then set the where you set after the neutralizer so that the lash is set. So for a roller, for a lash curl, the bend is in the center of that roller, right? It's when it's circumference, right? So the bend is in that center. So when the hair wraps around, in the center of the lashes is where you're breaking down the bonds and then resetting it with the neutralizer so that they curve into that C shape. Okay. In the lift, you place it from the root to the center. Okay, so get it very close to the root without touching any of the waterline, because then you're going to make it look irritated. And then to the solution to the center. You leave the tips, as you can see there, a little bit free. And the curl is always, we leave the tips free because they're old growth. So because of old growth, think of like when you have damaged hair and you put too much heat on those tips of the split ends. The split end just goes higher and higher and higher and breaks more. So we don't want to cause any, there's already damage on the tips, maybe from sun, from past services of lash lift or so forth. We don't want to create anything further. So leave the tips free. Okay, so the placement of the solution is very, very important to achieve that desired U shape or C shape. Okay. And then we're just the prep. I will go through it into more detail when I'm showing the demonstration, but it's for you to see that we do have a foam lash extension safe too. So you can sell it as a retail item to your clients if you're doing lash extensions as well. It's great. It's a milder formula, so it's great for people who are more sensitive with its aloe vera properties. And so I always like to carry both, that if I have somebody that is very sensitive to anything, they probably wouldn't be able to do the lift, but sometimes they can do the lift, but they're sensitive to certain solutions, maybe the micellar, then I have that for them, for the eye. Because in the lashes, it also, the foam effect, it tends to lift. Like when you do a foam cleanser, it likes to lift the debris upwards. So it's great for lashes. Brows, I use the micellar eye makeup remover. And then you have the saline solution. So the saline solution is to degrease it and make sure that there's nothing in the area. Very important for all these services, except for intense browns. If any of you guys are doing intense browns, you do not use a saline solution. But for any of these other services, you do need to use a saline solution in order to get those results. Okay. Then we have our, Left to right, yes. So you can do, so you don't have to use, that's a good question. You don't have to use both the makeup removers. You choose which one. I carry both in my station because if I have somebody that's really sensitive, their eyes like really sensitive, I'm going to use the foam. If I'm doing a lash service, I could use the foam. And then if I do a brow service, I could use the liquid. But you choose either of those as the makeup remover. And even if they come in without any makeup, you still got to clean away the debris of the environmental factors as well. And sometimes they put powder on their face and that lands in the eyes. And then the second step would be the saline. Okay, Yasmin. And then you have the befores and afters just to see what the look can do. You know, before we didn't really see, she has nice lashes, but we didn't really see them. And now from the beginning to the end, we see the nice, beautiful formation of all these lashes. Now here is just a lift and a tint. If they want to add on mascara, 24 hours later, and their lashes will showcase even more. We're going to also talk about how to add value to your lash lift services. Any service, how to add value and how to elevate them by giving your client a massage at the end. And also during the demonstration that I do today on our model, I am going to be putting our eye care pads as well. If you haven't tried them, they are amazing. They've got the hyaluron on. Actually, I have them right here. They got the hyaluron, vitamin E, aloe vera, so they help with fine lines, they help with puffiness. I wear these even at home when I'm cleaning the house. I put them on. They actually give just a beautiful smoothness. And at trade shows, I showcase so people can feel them. So if you haven't tried these yet, bring them into your salon. Use these on your clients because when you're doing a lash lift, you got to hold the bottom lashes down so they don't get brought up. So this holds them down, but also gives an eye treatment. And you could add about $5 to $8 value to your service fee to cover the cost for these because they're a little bit pricey because of the ingredients and what they do. Okay. And also at the end of your service, give your client a little massage. On the temple areas, you can see the 6 different movements. That's another way to add value and elevate your lash services. Essentially, on your menu, you could have a regular service, more express, I guess you could say, lash lift, and then you can have a deluxe lash lift where they get a eye care treatment and also massage at the end. So you can separate it that way, or you can just have the deluxe one for everybody to enjoy that service. But that's the way to market it as well. Okay. Your aftercare, if you don't already know, your styling gel is super, super, super important yourself as a professional to have this on your station. Any RefectoCil services that you end with, like you do and you got to end it with the styling gel for aftercare. And then this item also becomes a retail item for your client to take home and use. So learn to market this, learn to talk to your clients. What I do, I know a lot of us when we went to school, they didn't really teach us a lot about selling, okay, and how to retail in our place of business. That wasn't the focus like when I went to school. And I'm hearing this a lot from other people that still, that's an issue with school. They don't teach us how to retail and how to sell. Yes, Giovanna, you will get a recording as well. Yes. So we did do a webinar. If you go onto our website, we do have a webinar on how to retail and how to suggest products like aftercare products to your client without overwhelming them. So what I do if I find it hard to retail something, but it's my first time a customer comes to me and I really need them to have the styling gel because they need to also take care at home to moisturize because they're coming back every 4 to 6 weeks for this service. They got to moisturize at home on they got to hydrate, their lashes and their brows. So what I do is I have a little take home care package for them. So I have the protocol cards in there for them, what they have to do for their lash care. And then I have inside there like a little spoolie. And then I have inside there an eye care pad because I liked it so much. I put one as a little gift. And then I also put in there the styling gel, but that's a charge. So if they come in their service is $60 and the styling gel is $40, it's a $40 retail service, then that first initial service, they're going to pay $100. Then when they come back in 4 to 6 weeks, it goes back to just being $60 because they have that styling gel in their hands to use. So that's how I do it. Okay. So when is good to start using the gel? The gel, they can use it right away. I will tell you about this, Okay. How much would you add for the massage? Once again, you you can not add anything because the protection cream doesn't cost a lot at all. So we use the protection cream. It works as a massage cream and an mask treatment and a hand cream. It's not expensive and that lasts for a long time. So usually this is like a free service. But if you're going to add the $5 to $8 for the eye care pads, I just include the massage into that because it's pennies per customer, the cream that you're using. You're using very little because it's rich, right? So if you want to do full $8 that you add on or even it out to $10, it should include both of them. Okay. How much would you add? We did that. When is it good to start using the gel? So like, as I mentioned, right away, when they go home the next morning, every morning they should be using it. Okay. And then the Care Balm. The Care Balm is a night treatment. So as we said, the styling gel is a day treatment. The Care Balm is a night treatment. So the Care Balm is where you have to wait 48 hours to use it because it's so rich in the oils, right? So you don't want to use it within the time that the hair is trying, the follicles are trying to seal. Then afterwards, they could use it every night. So your styling gel is a day treatment. Your Care Balm is a night treatment. I use a Care Balm every night when I go to sleep because it's got the castor oil and it's got rich mineral plant oils and it's helped to keep the maintenance of my lashes, the thickness, the length that I need. And then you have your booster. So your booster is actually going to help to boost the follicles and help them to add the length. And even in your brows, if there's a follicle underneath that needs boosting, it will help to boost it. Okay. So, and then this is also your aftercare. Like if your client wants to purchase the eye care pads, it's going to be expensive, but if they really like them, they can actually purchase the box. You can retail these. So the box comes with a pack of 10, and then you can also retail the cream. A lot of people love the cream. I use it. I have it in the car too for the winter for my hands. Okay. So that's reaching to our end of our PowerPoint so that we can get our model prepped up and do the demonstration. Here is where we want you to guys to please, keep it within the community, stalk us for sure, and like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. We've got the RefectoCil North America account, and we also got the Barista by RefectoCil, where I do a lot of tips sharing on there. And then visit our website. Visit our website, RefectoCilEducation.com. It's very educational, very helpful for you guys to download consent forms, anything that you may need. But also, we do have an online academy, CBN Academy. Right now, we only have the 2 brow services, which is brow lamination and intense browns, because we wanted those to be ready for our Business of Brow campaign this year. So if you want to do those courses, those are available on there. You do get a certificate. You become certified. If you're in the US, you do get a CEU credit as well. And if you have any inquiries, if you need some troubleshooting or you want to know where to purchase and so forth, email at education@cbngroup.com and we can be able to assist you. Okay. So I'm going to have to turn off the camera and give us about 5 minutes. This is time for you as well to grab another second cup of coffee or to take a pee break, but I'm just gonna change the cameras and get a better view of our model. Okay, so give me about 5 minutes and we'll be back on to show you. Okay, can you guys hear me? I'm going to hear that echo. Let me just see. Yes, okay. Just give me 1 second. I just got to, I'm still going to hear an echo through here. Hello. Oh, this won't work. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I think I got it. Nope, I hear an echo. Let's see now. That's good. Nope. Yeah, okay. Perfect. No echo. Sorry, guys. Does that feel okay? Let me see. If you shift a little bit your head. No, the other way. And then I shift this. I can't make the model bigger. Sorry, the model window bigger because if I exit, we're using our phones now for the camera because it's clear. If I exit the platform where I'm on with the main platform, it's going to end the webinar. So you have to try on your end to configure around the screen and minimize some parts of your screen, make some parts bigger. You have to try and do that on your end. I will try. Oh, did I just turn off the camera? I did.
PowerPoint down?
PowerPoint's down, yeah. What did I just do? Okay. I can try and see. Yeah, unfortunately, the screen shows it there. I'll have to message the platform and see, but because we're using the cell phone as well, it's showing it side by side. That's why. We're not using the internal camera or something from my like a camera attached to my laptop. We're using a cell phone. But can you guys see okay? I tried to, you can see it? Can you see the model okay? As long as you guys can see her lash area, that's what I'm really like grateful if you guys can see that. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so let me just get my gloves on. And we're gonna get started. So we're gonna get started with the prep as we mentioned. And everybody can hear me, right? I didn't lose sound. Okay, thank you guys. Awesome. Thank you for giving us that time to set up. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So let's start off with the prep. Okay, so as I mentioned, let's see. Yep, the micellar eye makeup remover. Okay, so even if they come, well, we could also use the foam, but I think my trainer took the foam from yesterday. It's okay. I'll use the liquid one for now, but you could also use the foam. Okay, so I'm going to do the little prep, even though our lovely model, Christy, so welcome, Christy. I haven't had Christy in a while, so I'm so glad she came back to be a model. I forgot what I was going to say. Did I say something about Christy? Oh, yes, Christy, you don't have any mascara. Yes. So she doesn't have any mascara or anything like that, but, we've got the environmental factors. We wanted dust, debris, sweat, and just in case they did wear any other, like, makeup, we want to make sure that it's not around. I thought you were supposed to use both. Nope. You choose either the foam or the liquid. Whichever one you choose, you do that. You don't have to do both. The second step is the saline. Okay? That's what you have to do. So it is a 2-step cleansing, but makeup remover and then saline. Your makeup remover can be a foam or a liquid. And what we'll do too is I'm going to clean your brows too. You don't mind? I'm going to do your brows too. Yeah.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to clean your brows too because I'm just going to show you how easy it is to do just while their lashes are forming. We could tint the brows as well.
I'm thrilled to have an add-on.
There you go. See, she's thrilled to have an add-on. And that's what a lot of customers will say too. So don't forget to talk about your add-on services and tell them, would you like a brow tinting at the same time while your lashes are taking on the solution? Who's going to say no? Okay, so we cleansed the lashes on that side. Perfect. So we did that part. And now we just got to follow through with this saline solution. Okay, and once again, RefectoCil has their saline solution. Does the foam tend to get into the eyes? Not like the cream, the liquid doesn't either. So the foam shouldn't either. The foam is more, how would you say the word? It's more stable on top because it foams upwards. So I don't think you should have an issue with the foam as you don't have an issue with the liquid. Also, you shouldn't overpower your cotton pad with so much of the solution, because then if it's too drippy or too much, then you could get that into the eye, right? So I don't put too much. Okay, so now I'm going to do the saline solution. There we go. Okay, we're going to clean. So this is the double security to let me know that I degreased it, everything is gone. Okay. And the same thing with the brows. And I'm going to quickly just go grab my fan. I forgot that because I want to tell you something. Drying the lashes, the hair, before you start actually doing the solutions and glues is so important. And in between the solutions drying. So if you have a lash fan, it's going to become your best friend in these services. Let me just bring mine. Give me 1 second. Okay. And then you dry up the lashes. And then I take a spoolie. Oh, I died. Are you kidding me? Okay, so my fan is busted.
Is that a battery?
No, it was charging yesterday, but it completely died. Okay, so anyways, I have a fan. So right now that I don't have one that's working, let me see if I have another one. Hold on. Okay, I found another one. I think it just fried it, whoever was charging it, who knows. Okay, so I'm gonna dry it. I'm gonna take like a spoolie. And you're gonna dry. And this way too, you can also separate the lashes so that when they're wet, they're not clumped together. Okay, because how you form them, you don't want them to be clumped together. And now that we're drying them, they're going to accept the solutions better, the glues. If they're wet, they won't accept it nicely. So that's what I was told to test out from Austria, the manufacturer, and it actually does really work. Okay, perfect. Does the foam, no, we said that, do you use the same pad for both eyes? Yep, you can use, but I flip it. I flip it to the other side. I fold it in half moon. So one side is for the one eye, one side is for the other eye, and then the same with the brows. Okay. Do you use the same load for both eyes? Well, we answered it, right? When you say load, do you mean the solution or the amount of liquid I put on for the cleansing part? I don't know what you mean by load. Was the cleansing part? Okay. Now we're going to put the eye care pads, and we're going to hold those bottom lashes down. Okay. These are the pads as I showed you guys. Okay. And then when you open it up, it's obviously the two with the plastic film. So it's on the plastic film. That part is the part that has the treatment that's laying on the plastic film. So I'm going to get Chrissy to open up her eyes. And as she's looking up, 1 second. I pull down the bottom lashes like to the tip and then close. And I make sure they're not, like if I feel like it's pushing a little bit upwards, I got the wrong pad. Open this side? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Close. Yeah, your pad shouldn't be pushing too much upwards because also when that pad gets wet from solution or from tears, it could start to irritate their eye. Okay. Look up again. It just helps you not to bring the bottom lashes up. I've done that once in my life and it wasn't really nice. Okay, so now your client will have to keep their eyes yeah, the treatment is side down. Yes, it's on, the treatment is resting on that plastic film. Yes. And it's sticky. You can see that it's the underneath part looks rubbery sticky because all the solution is on there and it sticks. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to just shift this a little bit. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to get the forms. So I've done this before on Christy, so I know the size small is. If you have to size it, it's easy with the plastic forms. How would you apply the RefectoCil eye protection papers? They don't have a sticky side. You use a protection cream. So the paper sheets, you use this in the back. The same thing that we use to protect the skin from any staining and to do the eye mask treatment and to use as a massage cream is what you would put in the back of those papers to hold them in place. And also your black silicone pads. A lot of people like using the black silicone pads because they're reusable. After a while, when the black silicone pads stop to stick onto the skin, because they tend to stick on their own, right? The silicone part. So that's what they look like, the black silicone pads. Okay. You can put protection cream behind those too. Okay, I just like using the eye treatment because who will not want an eye treatment? It's a bonus. It feels so amazing. Nice. It feels nice, right? And in the summer, I tend to put them in the fridge a little bit, so it's cooling, right? So if you want to market it and have those as well, it's great. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I'm just trying to push this and see if I can get this a little bit closer for you guys. Maybe I should stop touching the camera. But you guys can see okay. Okay, so the pads. Here's the silicone pads, okay? And you're going to take your glue. So this is our glue, okay? And initially, because my pads are disinfected, they were stored. They were clean and disinfected and stored. I can take the actual applicator that's in the glue, and I'm going to apply it on that whole part in the back end of the bump, but not the free edge, just that part behind the bump. I also wrap some glue. I'm going to grab a little bit more. I also like to wrap some glue on the tip around to the front part, just in case they tear, then my pad won't lift. If your pad starts to lift because you didn't put any glue there, it becomes annoying and then you lose lashes underneath. So I curve around the glue. Okay, let it dry for just a really brief couple of seconds, and I'm going to place it nice and close to the the roots. And I can always grab my orange wood stick. Make sure the lashes are not trapped underneath. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Now, I'm showing this a little bit lower. There we go. Okay. So try your best to get it as close as you can to the roots, as close as you can. Because if you leave too much spacing, then the lashes won't be able to stretch over nice and tight over the pad. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Okay, how do you sterilize the pad? If I don't, okay, let me go to the first question. If I get glue on the client's lids, what do you use to remove? Oh, just water. The glue comes off easily with water. I just take a little bit of cotton pad with water. You'll see me after when I do it, and I clean the lid, and it goes away. Yeah, Yeah, you never want to leave glue. Just like with waxing, you never want to leave wax on somebody and then it sticks to their clothing. So same with the glue, you want to be able to clean it up, but just water. How do you, okay, so you don't sterilize pads because they're not hard plastic and they're not hard metal, so you can't sterilize them. They can become disinfected. So if you are in Canada, you can use preempt RTU that cleans and disinfects them. And if you are in the US, you can use prevention, the same stuff they use to clean your surfaces. Okay. What people tend to do first is clean it with soap and water first to do the cleaning part. Even though the preempt and the prevention clean as well, you want to take the soil load off first, a lot of it. So yeah, okay. If you were to put them in alcohol, a lot of people use alcohol, eventually they will start to get gummy and you wouldn't be able to reuse them as often. Okay. And also you have to leave them 10 minutes in alcohol. Barbicide, I think barbicide is also 10 minutes, isn't it? When you soak things. So you can try. It's a quat barbicide, I believe. So you can try. It's just with the RTU, it's 3 minutes and you're done. Yeah, it's 10 minutes. 3 minutes and you're done with the RTU, and there's no soaking. You just spray it, lay them on a paper towel, or you can use the wipes and clean it. Leave them wet for 3 minutes, dry them, put them in the container. Prevention is 1 minute, so even faster in the US. Okay, perfect. You can hold them down for a little bit to secure. Awesome. Okay. I've used the protection cream you use for tinting if they won't stay. Yep, perfect. Exactly. So did I answer everybody's questions with the disinfection, with everything? Am I up to date with all the questions? If I forgot anything, please feel free to ask it again. Okay. Got my laptop right beside me to help me. I'm just trying to separate a little bit the lashes. Okay, so now it's time to roll up. Roll them up and do it into sections, okay? I thought the preempt solution would break down the gummy. Nope, RTU will not. If you put it in like she said, how do you sterilize? If you were to put in CS20 or HLD5, you will destroy your pads. They're not hard plastic and they're not deemed critical, these tools, these pads. So you do not want to put them in CS20 or HLD5. Okay, I'm just going to tilt this way a little bit. Okay, I'm going to tilt this way. Work it into 3 sections. So my first section, and you can work it as big or small as you wish. If you have troublesome lashes that are giving you trouble, work it in smaller section. RTU, preempt RTU in liquid or wipes. And in the US, prevention. Same manufacturer, just different, for the US is different regulations, and it's prevention. And it comes once again in wipes and in liquid. And also the wipes are, they created replaceable wipes. So you don't have to keep on buying the container. And that way we avoid loitering, like all that plastic that contaminates our environment. Okay, so you can see, you're welcome. Okay, so as I'm, RTU means ready to use. There's no dilution needed. So that's why they call it RTU. So I'm going to just share something. You can see, okay, so I initially used my orange wood stick because I can apply much more pressure with this as opposed to my lifter tool. But I do use my lifter tool afterwards. You can also use the brush part, right? But I find I can't put the pressure that I want with the brush. What do I mean by pressure? When I'm rolling, I'm pressing down and rolling at the same time, because you see that water line? I want to see that water line. So I put that pressure. Always ask your client if the pressure is okay. But I push down and I roll. Okay, that way I am, can you see those lashes securing nicely up there? And I can see the water line. I don't know if you can see the water line here, because when I apply the solution, I know I can get close to the water line without having to lift up their eye. If you have to lift up their eye, you're going like this, putting the solution, letting go of the eye, and the solution gets into the eye. And it is not fun. Okay, I'm going to try to get these corner ones too. I don't want to miss any hairs. Now, as a bird's eye view, when you're looking at them, when you're on top of your client like this on a bird's eye view, you're like, wow, everything looks great. I got all the lashes. As soon as you go from the side of your client and look at the side, you can see all the lashes you missed. So don't rely on the bird's eye view because you want to get as many of the lashes, okay? I can hear you, but I can't see you. Can someone help me get bonk, sorry, the right screen, thank you. So if you can't see me, check refresh your page or exit and come back in and then see your camera setting if it's okay. Because I think everybody else can see me, correct? So try that. It might just mean you might need to refresh your screen. Try that and let us know when you come back in. The checks might be hiding. True, if your chat box is too big, you can minimize that and your screen can become bigger with the model too. It's another thing. But if your chat screen's covering it, bring it to the side, like minimize it, like scroll it to the side, roll it to the side, sorry. No worries, no worries. That's okay. Can you see now? We just want to make sure that you can see. As long as you can see, do not worry. So remember, nice and taut, pull it. The pressure's not too hard, but like I'm not there to show it in your hands, but when I do classes, I show people in their hands so they could see it. Now, some lashes, if I feel that they're not still sticking, and they're like fighting me, I get another orange wood stick. I grab the glue and I roll off some glue from there because I don't want to cross-contaminate. So I have a fresh new orange wood stick. I place it on the back side of the lashes and always put glue in smaller increments. If you don't, you're overloading the lash with too much glue, which at the end, a lot of people come to me and say, oh, your lift didn't work. Well, I go to them, how much glue did you go with? They're like, a lot. And I'm like, well, that's the reason, because our solutions work so fast. By the time you went to you put so much glue, by the time you put the solution on, the time that you chose wasn't the right time. You have to add more time to it because you put so much. But the key is less glue and add it into increments. Look at that lovely, I'm scared to move the camera, but look at that lovely placement. Can you guys see that okay? Yeah? I have clients that have dense, long lashes in their outer eyelid that fans on a 45-degree angle. How do you place those? I try to bring them in. I bring them in and place them and try to place them up on the pad. So I have to bring them a little bit because they're fanned out. I roll them inwards up here and as straight as I can get it. Right? And you tend to run out of pad room. So that's where you have to use a little bit more glue to secure them down. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Zinya. Did that answer your question? Okay. So now I'm going to leave that for now and see if I have to secure any lashes. Now we're going to go to this side. Now her pad's a little bit shifting. That's okay. I'm going to fix it. Hold it down a little bit. Perfect. I'm going to release this a little bit lower. Okay. So we're going to do this in section 2. Okay. So the section, so angle them up. Yeah, angle them up. Yeah. Now, because if the pads might not reach long enough, like if they're really long lashes, the bigger the pad you go, the longer it can extend a little bit. But if not, then you have to try to work them on the size small pads. So bring them in and angle them up. Yes, you're right. See, when you work your lashes in sections, you're also able to spend the time needed to roll them up nicely. Now I did place this pad a little bit outwards. See if I can shift it in a little bit. Okay. So yeah, when you work it in angles, in sections, it really helps you to focus because you want to get those lashes nice straight. I'm going to show you another tip. Her lashes are going nicely, like they're not really fighting me. Just this eye is lifting a little bit. It could be that her skin's a little bit more producing oil on this end. But it's okay. I just secure the pad down. Her lashes are sticking really nice. My technique of applying pressure and seeing that waterline is working great on her. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see on the camera that how easily it is that I'm able to roll them up nice and straight and separated. But I will show you a tip. Let me finish rolling these up and I'll show you a tip what you would have to do if the lashes were really clumped together and you wanted to separate them. Okay. So perfect. So I'm going to look from the side and make sure that all her lashes are on there. Perfect. Yes. Oh man, this is perfect. Kind of wish I wish I had another phone, take a picture of it. The placement is great. Okay, so if, for example, when you looked over the lashes and you were like, ooh, there's some clumped area they need to separate, because how you place them is how they're going to form. So you have to be careful. Sometime have stubborn lashes and they can't glue. Yes. So if you came onto my curl webinar, we had that issue. You just have to, with the stubborn lashes, you just have to keep applying the glue in smaller increments. From the back side first, roll it down. Sorry, excuse me. Put the glue on the back side of the hair, roll it down, hold it down for a couple seconds. Hold it down for like 10 seconds and then finish rolling. And that could help. But you have to work in less glue so that you can go in often with the glue. And eventually they will stick down. When you put it from the inner side, they will stick down. Okay? Now, if the area was too clumped together, what I do, now I don't want to double dip, so I'm going to take another orange wood stick. I take some glue onto my orange wood stick. The area that I feel was really clumped together, I wet it. Okay. And that's where my lifter tool comes into handy. I can take it and I can now separate the hairs. Because they got wet, they're easier for me to separate now. Okay. And then re-secure them down. Okay, so the lifter tool really helps me to do that whole separation. Okay, everybody feels good so far? We've got the placement on. They look great. Chrissy feels great. Kind of want to bring it closer so you guys can see, but I'm scared to move this camera. But can you guys see that? I'm just holding it a little bit. Oh, you're too close. I can see your nostrils. Oh my God, that was so cute though. Okay. You guys, looks good. Okay. Yeah, so you have to find the glue dries and the lifter scrapes them off. No, because when you re-wet it, the glue is still pretty wet. So you see when I did it, when I re-wetted it, it was still pretty wet. Now, if I go now, it's too dry. So as you wet it, go right away with the lifter tool. I don't have that issue when I re-wet it. Also, if you're rolling, and you start seeing it get stringy, yes, your glue has dried. Grab a little bit more glue. Remember, in smaller increments, grab a little bit of glue and place it down. Okay. We can zoom in. Okay, you guys can zoom in. Oh, that's great. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, wet with what? You wet it with the glue. When I say wet, is that you grab a little bit more glue, and I tend to put it on my orange wood stick. I have a bunch of these because I don't want to double dip in the glue. And I roll off some glue from the brush and I wet the area, and then I continue working it. Okay. I guess some people can zoom and some people can't. I didn't know that you can zoom. But for those of you who know you can zoom, maybe if you're on a phone, I feel maybe if you're on a phone, you can pinch it and zoom in. I feel on a computer, you can't pinch, which when modern technology can allow you to do that? Touch screens. Yeah. Okay. So don't ask me how to zoom because I don't know. I don't know. No? Oh, on my iPad, on her iPad. Oh, okay. Well, that's something new to know. So everybody should join in next time with iPads because you can zoom in and see all those little things we want to show. Okay, so now it's time to start with the solution. So we have the lash perm solution. No worries, you're here. Don't worry if you're late. There'll be a recording. We just started now with the solution. Okay, so we have step number 1, which is the lash perm. This is going to break down the bonds in the keratin of the hair so that it makes it workable so we can mold it now to the new bump. And remember, I can see the water line. Can you see how nice the water line shows through? Okay. Yeah, I don't think you can do it with the laptop, unfortunately. She said it was her iPad. So you guys can always try next time with an iPad. Or it just maybe it works with certain computers and certain, I don't know. But that's cool if you can zoom in.
Oh, no, that's my alarm.
Oh, shoot.
So
That's okay, no. Give me 1 second. 1 second, guys. 1 second.
on the outside pocket.
Outside pocket? Okay. And I can just slide it off.
Yeah.
Stop. Okay. And there we go.
So sorry.
No worries. It's okay. Your nap time's over. No. Okay. So now we're going to start with the solution. Okay. So there's a solution. And when it comes out pinkishy like this, like a little white pinkishy, it's good. As it oxidizes, it gets purple. So if you squeeze and it came out purple, throw that away. Do not use that because it means it's oxidized. So close your caps right away. I squeezed it out and I already closed my cap right away. Now I just like to spread it a little bit like this. I grab a little ball on the end of my brush and I start working at it diagonal like this. Okay. And you saw even in the picture when we showed you the product placement, you want to be generous. And I'm getting it right by the roots, but not touching her skin. And that's why it's important to see the waterline. Okay, roots to middle, exactly. Okay, and I'm being pretty generous, leaving the tips free. I got this nice little dab and roll technique, like diagonally. Okay. And don't rush this part because you don't want to spread too much and then it gets into their eye. Like you don't want to go too fast. Okay, perfect. We got the first placement. Now let's do the other side. Now, if during this step lashes start to pop up, that's fine. Just make sure that they stay wet so that the bonds can be broken down. And then after we remove the solution, dry the hair, then we can glue them back down before we do the neutralizer. Okay, so it's not the end of the world because even if you guys stayed at my, came to my curl webinar, we had that issue and I was able to continue doing it and make the results showcase. So if any of the hair start to pop up, you just have to take a little bit of the solution and wet it. Make sure that it's nice and wet. Okay, so we're gonna leave the solution because it's the 8 and 5 solution time that I have. So I'm gonna leave it 10. She does have a little bit thicker. So the first step is gonna go 10 minutes and the second step is gonna go 7 minutes. So that's one thing to note too. Depending on their density of their lashes and their brows, the solution time varies. If you have the 8 and 5 minute tubes I have like this, the red, you can go 8 and 5 for the mild to medium type of, like thin to medium type of hairs, and then 10 and 7 minutes. So that's the 2 solutions, 10 minutes for the lash perm, 7 minutes for the neutralizer for more thicker lashes. Do not do 10 on somebody's lashes who are fine or brows that are fine because you're going to be over processing. Now, if you have the tube that don't have this red marking on it and it's just the new pink writing, then it's 6 and 4 minutes. So there you can do 6 and 4 minutes for very thin lashes and brows, 8 and 5 minutes for medium, and then 10 and 7 for thick unruly. Okay. That's another reason when people messages like, oh, well, I bought the lift and didn't work for me. The timing, everybody thinks 6 and 4 minutes is for everybody. It's not. The thicker the lashes get, the more denser the lashes and the brows get, the timing has to go up. And think about the glue. When you went crazy with the glue, you have to go higher in the solution time because the solution will be able to penetrate through the layer of the glue. So I see there's some more questions. I'm just adding, I had a little bit more left in my bowl. So I'm just seeing if there's any areas that need a little bit more. Okay, perfect. Now there's a question. It says, it's a patting motion? Yes, pat. You're like, you know when you do gel nails, when you do forming of nails, and you take the gel and you're applying it, but then you're spreading it, but it's technique. It's like that. It's a patting technique. That's what I do with the eyes too, and it helps. Can I see it again? The tube, like this tube. That's step number 1. So step number 1 says the 8 minutes. And step number 2 says the 5, but the new one has no red box. It's a pinkish writing. So that means it's a 6 and 4 minutes. How long solution's good for since open? 2 months. So after you open up the tubes, write the date on the back with the Sharpie because they expire 2 months after opening. The glue, 3 months. Okay. Okay, here late. How can I see the recording? It will be available in the thank you email, the recording. When you get the thank you email, when you scroll to the bottom, it's going to say, here's your recording to the video. Okay. And if you don't get it or you can't find it, you can always email me. I will type it in at the end, the education, or I can type it in now. I want to go mix the tint for her brow. So we are leaving this on 10 minutes. It's been already 2, so 8 minutes left. So education cbongroup.com if you have any questions. 3 months after opening. So I always date my tubes every time I open them. Yeah. Okay. So I'm asked questions. I'm just going to mix now for her brows. Chrissy, just remind me again. Did we do the graphite and light brown though, right? Perfect. All right. Yeah, not too dark. Okay. So we're going to grab the graphite and light brown because she has warmer in her brows, but her hair is nice and cool. We're mixing the graphite to counteract that. Okay. Okay.
Yes, my brows are getting too much hair.
Glue lasts 3 months. Is it possible to purchase separate solutions or glue? Yes, you can. Everything in the kit comes in open stock. I don't know if you guys have seen our nice little artist palette that slides right on your hand like this. Amazing. I love it. And I'm going to use this to mix her brow tinting. Okay, so light brown and graphite. So the graphite's going to cool down our light brown because our light brown tends to have warm undertone. And her brow's a little bit more warm, so we want to match it to her nice coolness of her hair. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be doing equal parts. Okay, so we have another 6 minutes in the lashes, so I'm able to do this. If you can practice to learn how to do both services together, amazing. You cut out time, like you don't have to sit too long in the chair. It's a great add-on. So if they came in just for a lash lift, as we said, say, would you like a brow tinting to freshen up? Imagine, like just the look will be so uniformed. Okay, so I mixed my 2 equal parts. There we go. Always hard to find the camera. Equal parts. And I just have liquid with me right now, so I'm going to use liquid. If you use 2 centimeters of tint, then it is 10 drops of liquid. It's hard to do equal parts of the liquid. With cream, you just squeeze the same amount out as your tint because you can see it. It's liquid form, so it's easier. Okay, so I'm going to mix it until it gets a nice creamy consistency. With intense browns, what color will you use for someone with gray brows? Ash brown is fine. Ash brown is great. All of them, because they coat the outer layer of the hair, like they're like masking it on top, any color would be fine. But if you want to, like if their hair is a cooler tone, you want to use ash brown. If their hair is a warmer tone, you want to use chocolate brown. If you need to go darker, then you go deep brown. Okay. But because the system is different, then it coats it on top. It should cover all the grays, whichever color you use. So you see, I got a nice little creamy texture. Okay, I'm gonna grab my nice brushes for my brows. So we have our nice Browist toolkit, like our brushes with the silicone spoolie. Okay. Was it okay with the intense browns question? Did I get it for you? Let me know. Okay. I'm going to apply this because I still have some time. Her lashes are going to come off in about 4 minutes, under 4 minutes. Now, if say you were doing this multitasking like this, right? And your lashes was time to go do the lashes, then you could remove the lashes first, then come back to the brows after. Before you put the neutralizer on, remove the solution from the lashes, the lash perm, and then don't go yet to your next one because then you're going to come remove the brows. Okay? Any advice on use of graphite for white gray hair clients? When I've used it, it is standalone brow tint color. It doesn't take. Okay, so what you have to do with those type of clients that have like very strong, like bristly gray hair, you have to pre-soften it first with the bleaching paste. So we have a product called Blonde Brow, and that's a bleaching paste. So you put it on for between 3 to 5 minutes, depending how like crazy the grays are, to pre-soften them, and then the graphite will take. But you leave the graphite only for 1 minute because your hair was stripped, the color was stripped. It accepts the color so fast, you don't want to overdo it. Okay, let me know once again if it helped. How much of the cream drops do you use? Well, because cream is equal to do equal parts, excuse me, sorry. It's easy to do equal parts. I don't really count the drops, but it's 15 drops of the cream to 2 centimeters. But sometimes 2 centimeters of tint is too much. So if you dock it down to 1 centimeter, then it's about 8 drops of the cream, 5 drops of the liquid. Okay. So I'll let this process on the brows. I'm going to monitor them. A tip, if there's a client, a first-time client, and you don't know how the color on the brows is going to take, and you don't want them freaking out, and you want them to be happy, check the brow half of the timing. So if I'm going to leave this on for 5 minutes, at 2.5 minutes, I'm going to check the one brow to see how it's taking. That way I can keep it to the desired color the client wants. I get a lot of calls where clients call me and they freak out, say, my esthetician made my brows so dark, she doesn't know how to fix it. And honestly, after you put it through, you can't really fix it unless you go buy Selsun Blue or something like that and try to strip it. So you want to monitor the timing. All I have to do is grab a Q-tip, remove one brow, see how it's taking, and then you have tint. I still have tint left over in my bowl. I can go apply more. Okay. There was a question. Wow, won't that stain her brows too much? It won't. It won't stain it. No. You put it on for under a minute or under. What I do though, if it's somebody that I want to be careful, I put it in 10 minutes interval, 10 seconds interval. 10 seconds, take it off. 10 seconds, take it off. But usually you can just check in 30 seconds if it's okay. But do not leave it longer than 1 minute because then the brows will be really too dark. Okay. When I put on too much after a brow lamination gets so dark and stain the skin. Yes, even after a brow lamination. We say up to 3 minutes you can leave the tint on for a brow lamination. Up to 3 minutes. Doesn't mean that everybody's going to be 3 minutes. So that's another mistake a lot of people made is that they left the tint on for 3 minutes. And that's when I got a lot of phone calls too. So sometimes I even just leave it on for a minute, but at 30 seconds, I check a brow. Or if I leave it at 2 minutes, at a minute, I check the brow. Always check the brow. If this is a client you don't know, because after you know the timing, you write it down on their client card and you have it there to know, oh, this is how long I left it for her last time. You build that. So I'll show you with this one because her lashes, I have to remove them in 1 minute. So I'm just using our spoolie to spread it through. But let me just show you this one. What I mean. So you would just grab a tissue to hold this. You would grab a cotton round. The intense browns, it stays the same. The intense browns does not alter color. It will always be intense. Like it always stays this true as it is without a brow lamination or with. Whether you with or without, it's still the same coloring. But intense browns is intense. So the client who's doing a brow lamination and intense browns really wants wow brows. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. And you see how nice it already started to color it? So that was only on there for 2 minutes. So it already gave it a nice cooler. Now I'm not going to go more than this because she doesn't want it more than this, right? She wants to be as natural as it can be, yes, to her brows. And I did. Yeah, see, I like to remove the brows dry. I never put any water anymore when I do the oxidative tints. If you're doing intense browns, you have to use water. Yeah, brows turned out great. Okay. So I'm going to wait another 30 seconds on that side and remove that side. Now, let's see. On the direction paper it says 5 to 10 minutes. The direction papers for which? Yeah, is that Yasmin? Yasmin? Is that the directions for intense browns after a tint? Don't follow the directions that are in the tube and stuff like that. I find the directions there are not the greatest. Follow the protocols that we have on our academy that you can download once you register for our academy. It's free. You can download the protocols. Follow those for timings. Okay. It says, and what is expiration of the brow tint products? The brow tint, 12 months. Intense browns, 6 months. Sorry if I missed any questions. Please ask it again. I see somebody said RefectoCil papers for the tints. What was the question for that, Yasmin? Oh, you mean your RefectoCil papers for the tints? Sorry, the instructions. Okay, so they said 10 minutes. Yes, if you're doing a regular lash tint, 10 minutes. If you're doing a regular brow tint, you can go up to 10 minutes if the client wants it dark. I always say if the client wants it very light, 3 to 5 minutes. If the client wants it medium, 5 to 8. If they want it really dark, 10 to 12. Like, just that's how you break it down. But you see how I tested to see? Now, if she said, nope, leave it longer, I would go back and put it on and leave it longer because I have the tint available. Did I answer everybody's questions? We're going to remove the lashes now. So even with our model, Christy here, she does have a little bit of, just your color was flipping. She does have a couple of like white hairs in there. So if she came, she's like, as a client, she's like, I want to get those like rid of, we'd have to do the bleaching, the blonde brow. I probably will do a webinar in the summer or something on using the blonde brow because it's great to know that, especially for clients with silvery gray hair or stubborn gray hair. Okay, so I'm removing with a dry Q-tip, okay? You can use a dry Q-tip or you could also have a lip brush because people are like, whoa, Christy, you use a lot of Q-tips and they do tend to get expensive. So you can take a lip brush, wipe it off and then clean on a tissue or a cotton round. Like wipe it off like this without taking the cap off. And then, so like that, and then just continue using it. That way you're also environmentally good and not tossing all these Q-tips. But at the end, I do 1 round of Q-tip in the end so I can make sure that's not wet because on your lip brush, it will always show wet, so you won't know if you removed enough of it. So I do this initially where I'm just using 1 lip brush and then I use 1 Q-tip at the end. And her lashes stayed nice and on. Yeah, okay, Zinnia, I will do one. I will put it in for my summer webinar when it gets a little bit quieter. Right now for March, April, we're doing the business of brows. So maybe even in May, June, you know what? Maybe in May, June, I can figure out because we do bi-monthly our webinars, like we do it every month, but by our bi-monthly promotions. With a brow lamination, no more than 3 minutes. Exactly. It has to be 3 minutes or under, and it depends on the clients. It varies on the client's skin type, hair type, right? For a lighter blonde client, maybe 1 minute's enough. For somebody who has jet black hair, then maybe 3 minutes is good. You know, so you monitor that by the skin type and hair color. Okay. Any tips that the client want that the gray brows to take a more coverage? Yes, that's what we're talking about, the blonde brow. The blonde brow is the answer for oxidative tints. You have to pre-soften the hairs with a bleaching paste, which is called the blonde brow from RefectoCil. We have a webinar up from like the past years that I did on our website, RefectoCileEducation.com, but I will do a newer one, might as well. And that it's live and I can answer questions. Okay. Once again, if I miss, I hope I got everybody's. Yes, and yes, I will do one. I'm going to put it as a note after I'm done this webinar. I'm going to go put it in my notes to do one for May, June. Yeah. Anything that can help you guys to see it. And also with the bleaching place, you're able to customize your colors. So for example, you can strip somebody's brow and then you can mix the red and the purple and create pinks or create purples. I've done it before on some people and the pinks were like a nice soft cotton candy pink. It was so nice. So or you can just lighten somebody's brows. Say, for example, like when I went platinum, my brows were so dark, it made me look so aggressive. So I could just bleach them and leave them, like not tint them, like bleach them to level number 2, which is only like 12 minutes, and then just walk out. Like, so the bleaching paste does come in handy. And when you know how to utilize it, you expand more in your clientele, right? You're able to offer a lot more services than just the basic tint. Maybe you work for Fashion Week. Maybe you help do people's makeup or whatever for modeling, and you can become more versatile with the colors, custom coloring. Okay, I'm just taking a Q-tip because I want to make sure that there's no more pinkish, purplish on my Q-tip. And once again, look how nice and intact her waterline is. This is perfect. This is how you want it to be. If you lose the waterline, you're going to have a hard time with getting a nice lift. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking the fan and just fanning, just over, not brushing, nothing, just fanning so that the hairs are not too wet so that they could accept, so you can't see anything now, sorry, but that's the fan. Okay. So that the hairs are not too wet. So they can accept the next step nicely. Okay, so now let's do the second step, neutralizer. Okay. And then we're going to squeeze the cream. The neutralizer comes out in a little creamy portion like this. Okay. And then I have a second bowl and a second. Okay. Dry Q-tip. Yes. My bed setup, like how I set it up, like for the webinar or in general. I'm not fancy like everybody in the salon and spa, how nice they have it, because I'm in a training room in my back office. So basically I have a spa bed with a white sheet over it, and I have a plastic arc waxing Quran Lab. We have these plastic nice covers for the beds so I can disinfect it properly and not often have to do laundry. So I have that over, and then I have a blanket at the bottom, like an extra blanket at the bottom, and a towel, a RefectoCil towel in the headrest. It's not fancy. Like I know salons have nice like colored blankets and this, but I don't know if it's like the setup of the bed or you wanted to see my webinar setup. Okay, so I'm applying the same way. So I think there's another question. Are you using dry Q-tip? Yeah, you do. Okay, I think I answered everybody's question. All right. Okay, by the waterline too. You see how generous I am? And I'm just rolling it through, leaving the tips free. Perfect. Do the other side. So far, so good. Is the neutralizer one cream, or do you mix? Nope, it's just cream. It comes out cream. Look, it looks like that. It comes out cream. It's more soothing. It's the lash perm. Like, you do not want to get it into their eye because it is not fun. And at the beginning, if you're very nervous and they get into their eyes and you're not coaching them to calm down, it gets messy. So I've learned how to deal with it. When they tell me right away, they start. So that's why I always ask during my service with my client, I ask, how are you feeling? Sometimes clients, they don't want to tell you how they're feeling because they don't want to bother you, but they should. It's their eye area. So I've heard of some stories where the client didn't say anything and they ended up in the hospital having to do a proper eye rinse. So what I do is if they start to feel a little like irritation, right away I take a dry Q-tip and I tell them, what area are you feeling this irritation? And I hold the Q-tip there because maybe their eyes watered a little bit and it shifted into their eye, or maybe the pad started to like fall down a little bit. Like sometimes if you have like a hooded eye or a mature clientele, you need to tape up like this, the brow, so that it's not pushing the pad down. Sometimes what happens, the pad gets pushed down and then the solution gets into the eye. Because we're going to leave this for 7 minutes. Otherwise, yeah, dry Q-tip. Now, if it started to get worse, like they're like, nope, the dry Q-tip's not doing anything, then I go to a wet Q-tip. I try not to do wet because then it's going to release the lashes. But when I have the Q-tip, I'm literally holding it in the area like here. So I take the Q-tip and they're like, oh, my outer area is burning. And I hold it there. Like I go right where it's burning and I hold the dry Q-tip. So the solution can sink into the Q-tip. Okay. Why do you leave the tips out? They're old growth. They're old growth, so they could be damaged from another person that they went to. They could have tried their own at home lash lift and damaged their lashes. So they could be like at the beach all the time, at the sun. So we don't want to risk further exposure. I was telling people, like, think of your split ends. Like, you don't want to put so much heat and product like color or whatever on your split ends because they'll just keep breaking. So we don't want to put any solutions on the tips because they're older growth. Yeah. Plus, there's nothing to put there. Where you put the solution is where the magic is going to happen, right? If we start to put on the tips too, we might not get that full lifted effect, right? Okay, what did you say? Because I don't want Q-tips. Brushes, sorry, your question got shifted up. Let me find it. Oh, I can't go up. Okay, I put on solution with thin makeup brushes. Then I use a rounded end to take off any solutions that might be going into their water line and rub it off with a cotton pad because I don't want the Q-tip fibers. I use my Q-tips. These are amazing Q-tips. I use lid-free Q-tips, and they're so nice and tight, and I have no issues. The Q-tip is just really also helpful to soothe. But if you have a method that works, it's fine. If you have a method of applying and removing, it's all good. What can cost to not lift lash? What can cost, or what can be the issue if lashes didn't lift? What's the reasoning why lashes didn't lift? Okay, so there's several things. Choosing the right pad size. You didn't choose the right pad size. Rolling the lashes nice and tight where you see the water line. That could be another reason why it didn't work. Solution time. You didn't choose the appropriate timing. You just kept it the one timing. Glue. You ordered it with the glue. Lashes, they start to pop off and you didn't re-glue them back down when you did the neutralizer. Prep. You didn't do the makeup remover, then the saline. A lot of people miss the saline. And when they tell me it didn't work and I tell them to go back and try it with the saline, they're like, oh, yeah, it worked. So those are the type of tips you have to remember in your mind, like things like checklists to remember in your mind that you're doing correctly as you're going along with the service. Did that help? If the lash length is 10, how much you cover with solution neutralizer from 1 to 10? What do you mean by 10? In thickness? No, you said length is 10.
So I guess it's the tips because they're dead ends.
But when they mean by 10, they mean...
So like you do 8.
Oh, so it'd probably be 8, I guess, because you leave the tips free. So I would say 8, between 7 to 8. Thank you. You got that. Sometimes your models have the answer too, which is great. Yes. How long do you wait between being able to try the lift again? You're welcome. Between 6 weeks, because when you do a good lift, it lasts up to 6 weeks. I have some people that it lasts even 8 weeks. So yeah, you shouldn't. If they had to come back sooner, it's probably because you didn't do it properly and they weren't lifted too much to begin with. So by the 4th week, they start to go back down. So sure, it's fine in 4 weeks, but if you do it really good, 6 weeks is the right. No, if the lift didn't work, they can come back in a week and redo it, right? You can correct it in the same seating if you know your mistake and redo it and cut the times of the solutions, right? Lessen them. But if you're not sure, I would say wait a week and get them back in to redo it. But that's why all these tips kind of help you to know to avoid having that issue, making your lifts come out true, right? Okay, so we have another minute and it's time to remove dry Q-tip as well. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to do her blue, black, and black for her lashes. I'm going to mix them together just to add more depthness. okay, for her lashes. Now you can tint on the pad or without the pad. I like tinting without the pad, but for timing purposes, because our webinar should be ending now, I'm going to just tint on the pad for now. The reason why I don't like to tint on the pad is that you don't get bottom lashes. Also, you can't get very close to the root. Also, the pads get very poopy looking, very dirty looking. But otherwise, estheticians love tinting on the pad because they're able to do it quicker. But if the client wants bottom lashes tinted, then you don't. Okay. What if you overprocess? If you overprocess and you realize you overprocessed and the lashes look fried, you should probably gift them the Care Balm instead of making them buy it if it was your fault by accident, you know. And then they should be using that, for the next 6 weeks, and then they can come back. Yep. Okay, so let's start removing with a dry Q-tip. Once again, you can use a lip brush to avoid the Q-tips. Like too much. Her lashes are amazing. They just stick on that pad so nicely, which is an esthetician's dream. When they this is such a contrast. Who here was was here last week with the curl? Can you guys see the contrast of a customer who has lashes that work with you and a client who has lashes that don't work with you? But that you can do it with that client too. But you can see the difference. Anybody is here from the this one is going so much better. Yes, Zenya. Yes, I do remember Zenya. You were on. Yeah, but you know what? At the end, when we showed you guys the results, you guys were even shocked. It's like, whoa, it did work. I'm like, yeah. You just need you need to calm yourself. You need to coach yourself to breathe for those type of lashes. We had Leslie.
Oh yeah.
And she's got the party lashes all the way on the left side that they just did not want to work with me. But this time, I think it's been a while since I've used her. This time her eyes were flickering a lot. So even in the webinar I was watching it, they were flickering, and the lashes were lifting, and everybody was watching me do it.
Probably getting all of the water.
Yeah, but it worked. I told them it's going to work, but you have to be patient, right? If you're not patient, you huff puff and you can't do a good service, right? So it worked out. So they got to see. Yeah, she says it was really a great learning, though. Yeah, actually, you know what, guys? Everybody like messaged afterwards, and they said we're actually happy that happened because we got to see how to like do that with a real life paying client. So I'm sometimes when things happen like that in the webinar, it's actually good. It's like a learning experience. You only kind of want things to go bad so that's a better learning experience. Exactly. You guys get me.
I'm sorry, I'm so disappointed today.
I know, my gosh, Christy, why couldn't your lashes just pop off? But you know, honestly, when you do a client and their lashes are just so what's the word called? What's the right word? When they're cooperative, oh man, you're so happy. Your heart's calm. Yeah. At the end of the day, you want to do your best to have that client leave happy. Okay, so I did that with that. Now we're going to do with the dry, and then we're going to take the fan. Because now the tint can accept nicely, so it's not too wet. Okay. Could you just explain briefly how you would tint without using the pad? Yeah, I can. So basically you would take a wet Q-tip, remove the lashes, like wet them so you can remove them, then take the pad off, clean the back with the glue. Then you would take these pads, lift them, put them underneath the bottom of our lashes. Then you would take the tint, and as you're going to put the tint on as the form of the lashes, like mascara, upwards, inwards. But as you're going upwards, you're grabbing the bottom lashes up too, and you're getting those colored. So that's how you would do it. Yeah, for somebody that you want their bottom lashes to get as well tinted. So let's mix I'm going to use the other side of my palette. So now I got the other side that I could put the lash tint. Doesn't the tint gel get all over the lid? I'm pretty controlled with this. So as I'm rolling in the back and putting the tint with our brushes and up, if I touch a little bit on the lid, I just wipe it off with a Q-tip right away. Yeah, because if you start to cake it on top, you're ruining the the lift. You're not respecting the direction of the hair, and then the lift can lessen a little bit. Because within that 24 hours, the hair is trying to seal up, right? The follicle. Yeah. Just take your time when you're applying it, and then you can keep it clean. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm just mixing equal parts the blue black and the black. So there's my two tints, blue black and black. The blue black is nice on its own, especially when you have like blonder lashes, because it's got that gloss in it. So now I mix together with the black just because the matte's more black. Okay, so I'm gonna mix my liquid. Okay. I can tell, yes, we're gonna apply the aftercare, and then we'll say what instructions you have to do when you go home. For sure, for sure, for sure. So let me mix this. I'm gonna grab one more brush to apply on the lashes. I like our angled brushes. So when you purchase these brushes, the gold and like these ones here, there's one end that's more narrow like this. So I love that for the lashes. And then the other one is wider that I use on her brows. So I like using the narrow one because then I can get closer to the waterline when I'm doing the tint. If I'm doing it the other way, when I'm releasing the pad. So anyways, you're going to mix until it gets a nice creamy consistency, okay? Nice and creamy. I made sure this time I used less tint because look what happens if you use 2 centimeters. You get a lot of wastage. Look at the brown. So I made sure I used less for the lashes so I don't have wastage. And that way my how much I can make back, like usually you can do 30 services out of a tube of tint, but I could do much more if I cut it down and don't do 2 centimeters. Okay, so now we're just going to tint on the pad just for time's sakes. And because they're on the pad formed upwards, we don't have to worry. We can apply it, right? Like this. Okay, and after a lift, it's about 2 minutes after a lift. Okay, you know so the instructions, like for example, that question about the leaflet inside the tints. When you're doing a lash lift, it's 10 minutes. If you're doing a lash tinting on its own, it's 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes, but sometimes 15 minutes if they're thicker, unruly lashes. But after a lift or a curl, you condense the time to 2 minutes or between 2 to 4, depending on how thick the lashes or how layered they are. Okay, so the leaflet always explains the timing of just the tinting. Yeah. What's better on brunette or those that are almost black hair, black or blue black? With people who have black hair and a little bit darker lashes, I do black, right? But if I wanted to mix a little bit of the blue black, I mix it with the black. If they have brunette, even blue black should be okay on its own. But if you want to add a little bit more depthness, because their lashes are a little bit more on the darker side, then you can mix both of them. Okay, so this is going to come off in another minute. I know there's another question. Just give me 1 second. Make sure you get the tips. Because sometimes when their lashes are like lightened on the end, when you tint them, they look even longer. Okay, so let's see what the question was. There was a question. Can you do one eye? Oh, I just saw your question. You know what? When I remove it, I'll show you what I meant with the eye care pad. And I'll do it illusionally. Like I'll show you when I remove everything, what I mean. Yeah, sorry. I just saw your. Okay, so everything good so far? Everybody's okay on see how for those new ones that are never done a lash lift and are trying it. How does this feel? Easy? It's pretty easy once you get the practice. You know, your initial client is not going to be that easy. So that's why I always say, don't practice the first time on a client. Get a bunch of models, friends, family, whatever. I had a wine and cheese night at my friend's house and she brought her mom, her cousin, her sister-in-law, whatever. And I just practice the hell out of it. Because, and then in your initial service, you can also offer a little bit of a discount. Say, we're offering this new service. It's going to be our first time kind of implementing this. You get a discount. And then when you get comfortable with it, the rate, the fee that they pay reflects on your skill. If you are tinting, would you just use a wet Q-tip to remove? Yep. If you're not tinting the lashes, you just remove it with a wet cotton pad. But you should tint after a lift because lashes do tend to lighten with the solution a little bit. Same with brows. So we always suggest to tint so that they can see the effect. Like, look how much darker her lashes are now. So you're going to see that lift effect even better. But you see even that 2 minutes, how quick? It's because the hair follicles were already opened from the lifting solution. So they accepted the color really fast. Okay. One of the new ones here is way less overwhelming. Sorry, let me just, something covered your comment. Oh, way less overwhelming seeing you do it. Thank you so much. It's okay. It's going to become easy too for yourself as well, but it's just, don't expect like your first shot to be easy peasy like me, because how long have I been doing this, right? So I have the practice, right? So everybody's going to need that, right? But at least the tips and everything that I shared today doesn't let you go away blindly. You're able to have all those tips, which a lot of the instructions don't really give you all those tips. The fan, the drying, the timing, right? So we go more with that to help you. Okay, so I'm just now adding just a little bit of water on my cotton pad, very little. And as I start to do this, they're going to start to release. See? Simple. And then I grab the side of this pad. And then we're going to clean the lid. We're going to clean a little bit more. Give me 1 second if you have questions. I just want to do this cleaning and then be able to but I'm not overwhelming my cotton pad with a lot of water. I don't want those lashes to be drenched with water because we tell people to avoid as much like the shower they can in 24 hours. And I'll tell you the reason why. Now, before, I'm going to show you something that's going to be really cool. Let me just remove the other side here. I'm just going to do a bigger cotton. Okay, and I'm gonna get a little bit. So always remove first the bulk before you apply water, because some people go really like heavy with the water and there's still bulk of tint, and what happens is that gets into the eye. So always remove the bulk of the product, solution, or whatever. Dry, dry, dry first. So basically what I was gonna tell you is you would take the pad off. Don't open your eyes though. I'm gonna tell them. Your client would open up their eyes and then you would put it underneath the bottom lashes so that you're not staining the skin, underneath the bottom lashes. And then you would grab your brush and apply it inwards like this, upwards like this. You wanna follow the lift and grab the bottom lashes up. So that's what basically you would do. Okay. Let me just do another little bit cleaning on her lid so that when she opens them, there's no glue. And the corner of the eye sometimes product gets trapped. So make sure you get that as well before they open up their eye. I always have a little wet pad ready when they do open their eyes, just in case if they feel irritation anywhere. But I always try to get the solution out anywhere that it might be trapped. Okay, and remove this, hold the skin. You can even see like the difference. Can you kind of see like the coloring, like how smoother this is? I don't know if you can see that, but I can see it's the shade is a little bit lighter and it's much smoother than the rest down here. So they do make, these pads do make it, like, they're really nice. They did a really good job, and I can see why the pricing is a little bit on the higher end, but they're really great. So I'm just gonna do a dry cotton pad just to make sure that there's no product. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my fan. I'm going to grab my spoolie. Make sure it's like a fresh new spoolie. I'm gonna get her to open up her eyes. Do you feel irritated anywhere?
Nope.
Okay, you can open, yeah. Okay, can you guys see that? And I'm going to take, oops, I'm gonna take the fan and I'm going to do a blowout. So it might be a little bit irritated in the eyes with the air a little bit when they opened it. So I'm just gonna do a blowout. And as you're drying it, the lift gets lifted. The lashes get lifted as you're drying it. So it's a little blowout. There we go. Oh my God, the difference is really beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful,
I
huh?
my little picture. I do look much
Oh, you
better.
can see. Yeah, in the camera. And you see how dark the lashes are too? And how, like, you know, they're lifted, they're dark. Okay, so what I'm gonna, so you do that blowout. It really helps to get a lifted effect, because as the hair dries, it gets more lifted. Now the final step would be your aftercare. Thank you. Okay, I'll bring the camera like I don't know if that helps. I'm getting it over her. Okay, so a styling gel. Okay. Okay, so there was questions before. Lashes and brows look fabulous. Thank you. Look how put together, right? Like, she doesn't need to put no. She got a nice lip color too. So she doesn't have to put any makeup on. The brows and the lashes. Look at her eye color. Look how much her eye color pops out. Right? Yep. Somebody said that. Brittany makes her eyes really pop. See? There was questions before. Let me just see quickly. I think Black Rabbit, thank you. I cost down. I'll try up. It's okay. Wet. Sorry, I missed. Did you add the developer? I did add the developer in the tinting. I feel the remover process can be messy. How can we avoid this? Okay. If I didn't answer any of those questions, please let me know again. Freshen up, because I think I might have missed some, but I'm going to put, and also you can reach me at education.com, education@cbngroup.com, and I can answer any of your questions. But let me put the styling gel. So this is a styling gel. Okay. Whoop, this way. Styling gel. There we go. But I'm not using the insert that's in there because I don't want to cross-contaminate. It never gets old to see these results, right? It's a wow factor. Yes, and I'm going to take I squeeze it in my hand right there, the styling gel. Can you see that? The gel right there. And then I'm going to take my spoolie. I run it through the styling gel. I can do the brows first, lashes first, whichever. Like, I just want to get the brows all sealed in and conditioned. And this also helps for clients where the tinting doesn't last that long on their brows, because they're swimmers, they sweat a lot, they go to the gym a lot. She's got really nice brows on too. Look at that shape. It's a great product for them to hold in that tint to help them a couple days longer. Because sometimes some people, they come back within a couple of days that it didn't last that long, the tint, so this can help. Okay, so we got it on the brows, nice and conditioned. Okay, and now we get it on the lashes. And this is the same product that's going to be in their take-home kit. Remember at the beginning I said I put the aftercare postcards, I put those in the kit, and then I put the spoolie, and then I put an eye care pad, and then I put this styling gel in there, but they pay for it. It's about a $40 retail value, but it's in there, and they know they have to buy it. It's no choice. It's their aftercare routine. Yeah. Okay. I'll take an after picture and just post it. I'll do my best this time to actually post it on my Instagram from the webinar today. But this is the result. Can we see her upright? I might have to move my camera off of the phone. So let me move it off of the phone. So you guys are gonna get a little dizzy. After the lift, okay, let me just do first the thing. After the lift, when turning the lashes, do you add developer to the tint or just, no, you add developer. You have to develop the color. Also, before I turn her upright, the aftercare is within 24 hours. When we say avoid water, don't sit too long prolonged in that water, because what happens if you let water gush onto your face, that pressure, it lets the lashes lessen in their lift. Also the humidity in the shower. So we say avoid it for 24 hours. Now, in that aftercare, I bought from Amazon the just give me 1 second, the visors that lash extensionists buy for their clients when they take home. They stick on their forehead. So if they really need to take a shower, they put this visor on their forehead and they can go take a shower, and the water deviates away from their lashes and their brows, because the same instructions is for a brow lamination. No oils for 48 hours, no makeup for 24 hours, so no mascara, no saunas, hot tubs, stuff like that. Any of that humidity can lessen the treatment. So now let's get her 24, you can say 48 hours if you want to be on the safe side, but 48 hours is strictly for the this is the plastic part I was telling you about. So we put this plastic thing. It's great for waxing, but I put it too for tinting so that if anything goes on there, but I can disinfect it easily. Okay, so just the oils. Okay, it's a little bit wet, the brows. I don't know if you want to. Right. I can't see because of the. Do you want to hold it close? I can't. Let me see. Do we have it? Can you guys see? Turn side so you can see the side view too. Lifted. Yeah, am I getting it okay, the angle? I'm trying to see on the screen too. Yeah, you guys saw that, right? So beautiful. Okay, thank you guys. I can come up in here. Thank you so much. This is my bed setup. It's a little bit different because I also have to have my camera set up right here for the webinar, and there's my laptop. So, but thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Christy, for coming to be my model.
Thank you, Christy.
It's always lovely to have her. But yeah, you can reach out to me at education@cbrngroup.com. Even on our 2 Instagrams, you can reach out to me. I answer there as well. I troubleshoot on there. But this recording will be available in your thank you email. And thank you. I appreciate it. Any questions I miss? Email me and let me know. Okay? Thank you.